This happened in April of 2013, and my stepson and I had decided that we wanted to do something special for my husband, who is just a great guy and does a whole lot for us. And we wanted something to do to show our gratitude for him. And we were going to go and get him a new recliner. But he had the pickup truck that we needed to take it home, go pick it up. But my stepson had a sports car. I think it was an Acura or something. So we were going to go switch vehicles with him. And we were sitting at a red light. We were hit from behind. We were hit from behind at 70 miles an hour while we were just doing nothing. We were just sitting there. And what happened is that a driver, it was a big SUV, and my son's car was a lot lower than the SUV was. And the SUV went up and over the top and crushed the passenger side where I was. That's when my near-death experience started. I went from sitting in a car looking over at the parking lot where my husband worked, trying to find his truck, to suddenly being in what I've been told is the void. And that was a little surprising. It was just all of a sudden lights out. If I would have passed at that moment, I would have died without feeling any pain at all. I don't remember anything that was in between me being in the car and being in the void. Just suddenly there I was. And that is a very calming, peaceful place. It's surprising to me. At one point in my life, I worked emergency dispatch. And it was surprising to me when I worked emergency dispatch that so many adults were afraid of the dark. And this was not a place like that. This is not a place to fear. This is a very, oh yeah, it's dark, but it's very peaceful. I felt like I was in a standstill in a dark place. I wish I could remember something before that, but I just don't. I started thinking about why I had been put there or how I got there. And I was kind of a little concerned about my stepson, wondering what was going on with him. As I was thinking about my stepson, I started traveling out of the void, and I went to him. When I saw him, I was, of course, still outside of my body, looking at the situation. And I saw him just sobbing uncontrollably. And he was trapped in his seatbelt in the car. And he was just sobbing, and he was looking over at me, and he was saying, I'm so sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to do this. I honestly don't understand how. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here. My eyes are getting a little misty. But it's just kind of an emotional thing, seeing your child that you raised. He's my stepson, but I raised him. And it's emotional thinking about him being that upset. Anyway, I don't know how I was able to do this, or gifted this. I'll use that because I don't know any other way to put it. I was gifted the opportunity to go back in my body long enough to look in his eyes, hold his arm, and say, it's okay. This was not your fault. And then just suddenly, boom, I'm out again. From there, I was kind of teleported a distance away. It was, I would say, maybe a football field away. So I was aware of what was going on behind me, but there was a group of people who were there that I saw. And I have explained this part to other people as being similar to the feeling of walking into a room full of people and your eyes kind of look around. Now, keep in mind, I was still outside, but I was looking around at all the people, And it was the feeling of trying to find the first person who I recognized and felt comfortable with. I'm sure that that's relatable. And so in this case, it was my brother who had passed a few years before. So I went over to him and I asked him about the group of people, about who they were. And he basically said, family. And then there was another person who came and got me and took me for my life review. I have really focused in on it, trying to figure out who that was, and I really don't. This was a man who I felt really comfortable with. I felt like I should know him, but I didn't know who he was. Some people have tried to get me to say that that exact person was Jesus. It wasn't. This was somebody else. I believe I would have known if it was Jesus, and this was not Jesus. Well, I was taken to a place in a forest, in the trees, and for me, I think that makes sense. I very much feel comfortable in the woods, in the forest. I grew up in the woods. That when the life review began, it was like spread over a length of trees, and I knew that the trees were there, but I saw my life. Well, what I will say is that you're shown when I had my life review, it was chronological, and I saw my life, not only my experience with the thing, but also I was able to feel and see what my action had on other people. So if I could give an example from when I was 3, I saw myself throw sand at my brother, the one who had already passed, and it landed in his eyes, and I saw the pain that he had. I felt the pain that he had. I felt him, the anger towards me, and he, in panic, ran to my mom. And I felt so terrible after having seen that and felt what he went through. I had even forgotten about it, to be honest. But this is something that I felt him, and what my action, something just silly like a 3-year-old throwing sand. After the life review, I was not feeling real good about some of my choices for obvious reasons. And I turned and looked at the person who was with me. I didn't have words. Well, first let me just say that that you don't really speak with words like I'm talking to you. You speak more telepathically. It's more of a pure language. There's no room for misunderstanding. Sometimes the emotion here in mortality, you just can't seem to quite find the words. But there, it's pure communication, and the feeling that I had was just a mixture. It was embarrassment and sadness, and yet happiness it was over in a way, and also happiness that I had so many good things too. I wanted to stay. I told this person that I wanted to stay. He said, "You've got to go back." And I says, "But it feels so good here. I don't want to go. I really love the feeling here. I don't want to go back." And he said, "You have to." I said, "Why?" And he said, "You still have things to do." And I felt inside like a 2-year-old throwing a fit. Like, no, I don't want to go. And he put his arm around me and he said, "There are so many people out there who don't know that this is real." And he said, there are so many people who don't understand even the most basic feeling of love. And he said, you need to go back and help as many people as you can to be able to feel love, even if it's a smile, even if it's something small. You need to go back. I couldn't argue with that. I mean, how do you argue with something like that when this person tells you that you need to go back for that? Because I did know what love was, and I knew the feeling there. So that's why I came back, is to try to help as many people as I could. I was put back into my body, and I remember feeling, well, it was very fast movement, and then I was back, and I felt a whole lot of pain and confusion and heaviness. I felt the heaviness of my body. Things are a lot lighter over there. And so that's what I experienced exactly when I came back. I had to have a C-collar on. C-collar just goes around the neck and keeps everything from moving. It's hard plastic. I was told that I should not lay down flat, so I was sleeping in a recliner for about 6 months. And I had a brain injury. It's left me with a little bit of speech problems, but I had to go to a neuropsychologist. I didn't even know what that was before this, but she helped me to be able to get a lot of my speech so that it was more fluid, a lot better. She helped me be able to know how to get things done. I feel like that I am a better person now. I've been told that I'm a better person now. I've been told that people can sense more peace in me. I'll go to the grocery store or someplace, and people, it's like I have a target on my back or something, and people will want to come up and talk to me, and I'll give them my full attention, and I will talk to them, and they can tell me anything, and they do. And they hopefully leave feeling a little bit better. Just because somebody dies does not mean that they quit thinking about you. They think about you all the time. They check in on you. They are waiting. I think that you couldn't help but to know that it's worse for us here than there, because their time moves so differently than here. Here we're left with loneliness. They have regrets too. If I would have been kept there like I wanted, I would have had regrets. Everybody has regrets on both sides. Maybe they didn't get to say goodbye to you. I wouldn't have had a chance to say goodbye to my kids. That would have played on me a little bit. But it's not the same though, because of the level of peace and love that's there. And you know that you're going to see them in basically a couple minutes anyway. When you have tasted eternity, it's just so much, your understanding of things is just so much deeper and better than what we have here. When somebody dies, the people who are left behind are the ones who are affected the worst. But just know that you're going to see them in a flash. Share love. It shouldn't be just me who has that job. Everybody should do that. If you see somebody who needs something, by all means, help them out.